point. Well, first of all, so I'm Jeff Goldman. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have Ellie Feldman. She's our managing director for Wingman Insurance, and she's right up the street from you all. What's it on Nobbs Hill? One of those hills in San Francisco. Russian Hill, that's it. First I want to thank Jen and Garrett for having us appointed, and Brett Lance for, he was the first one that I worked with at Newfront that sort of got us in the door. And today we're going to show you what this is all about and why Newfront has decided to appoint us, because we're going to make your lives pretty easy when it comes to rating, quoting, binding, and us direct billing admitted cyber product. So what I'm going to do is turn the driver's seat over to Ellie here, and you're going to learn why we came up with this brand new slogan for the company. This is so easy, even a caveman can do it. So, okay, bad joke. Anyway, Ellie, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks, everybody. We're excited to work with you guys. I think you guys, more than really any of our other brokers, will know and appreciate what we're trying to do here, using automation to make your lives easier, get your jobs done more efficiently so that you can focus on more important stuff. There's a lot of cyber products out there. There's a lot of cyber products within a 6-block radius of your office, but ours is better, and I hope we can show you why. What you guys are looking at is our login page. What you guys should all have a login. You just log in here. You'll notice one of the most important aspects of our system is our live chat feature. It's this orange oval down at the bottom. It's going to follow you around. You guys understand how this all works, but it's really vital for us. It'll get you the answers as fast as possible. And on the other end are actual underwriters, decision makers, people that can handle the questions that you have, the issues that come up. If there's a technical issue, anything like that, we try to get it done immediately. So you'll see this is our system. You can add and remove users if you're an agency manager just by clicking on this users area. It's really quite simple. You can see that all of your policy management can be done from here. Quoting a new account, seeing your upcoming renewals and managing them, searching and looking at accounts and or data, and we can get more into that. Endorsements, things like that, and tools. Our tool section grows regularly, but just to point out a few things, claims and resources, how to report a claim, all of that stuff, easy to get to at your fingertips whenever you need it. All of this information is reiterated in our policy forms, but we feel like nobody wants to go through a stack of 50 pages to find a phone number, so we try to make it easy for you. And then Axis, who is our carrier, they're A+ rated. It's an admitted product, as Jeff said. They have a resource center for you that includes claims examples. If you're going out to pitch the product, you can go and search by state and line of business and what they do and all these different things, revenue bands, just to get some examples under your belt. And all of that can be found in your eRisk Hub. Just to go back to the tool section for 1 second, we have marketing tools for you, one sheets, info sheets, anything that you might need. We are fervent believers in, we hope no one ever knows our name. So all of the content that we generate, either on our social channels or here in the marketing tools and videos section, please use that content, take our branding off, add yours. Just steal the data points that we're using and put them in your own. We encourage you to do that. If you're ever looking for sources for any of this stuff, just let me know and we can send it to you if you want to specifically source where we get the information that we're using for those. You can always pull specimen policy docs if for some strange reason one of your insureds wants it with a quote. For larger accounts or higher limits, we're going to ask for a full app. The system's automated to give it to you when we need it, but if you know you're going to need it, you can come into the tool section and get it. And then finally, here in this area is the production reporting. You guys are a data-driven company. You can sort all of your data by a lot of different filters, a lot of different things. The agent in your office, the state, the industry, the NACE code, all the different things that you think you might need. If you have mandated that everybody has to do cyber quotes, for example, you can see who's being successful and who's not, all of that right from your production reporting. But that's not why we're here. We're here to show you how easy it is to quote and how easy it'll be for you to handle a new account. I'm just going to click on new. This little arrow is going to allow you to send an email to an insured and have them fill out the application online. Based on a lot of feedback from our users about a month ago, we were told that this is annoying and it would be so much easier if it was just a link that was special to each user that would then allow them to have that in their email signature, for example, or put it on their website or just email it out when they needed that. So that update is coming in about a week, but it'll be found in the same place, this little blue arrow. So we hope that you use that, particularly with 1/1 coming up and a lot of renewals and you guys working on a lot of new accounts. It'll definitely take some work off your desk if your insureds are filling out the application themselves. And as you'll see in a second, it's an easy app. They can easily fill it out themselves. But if you're doing it for them, you just click quote cyber, and we're going to ask for the applicant's legal entity name. And their revenue. So let's say they do, I don't know, $5 million. We need their address. It's hooked into Google Maps, so you shouldn't have to actually type it all out. I will say that suite numbers really screw up Google Maps. So if you could just like delete the suite number and put it on the next line, that's cool. It makes it work. Or there's a manual process as well if you need it. Question number 2 of the 5 questions on this application is, what do they do? We have pretty broad categories. We do a lot of cyber for example, healthcare, education, financial services. We've been doing very well with realtors lately. Obviously, and we were talking about this earlier, retail and restaurants are a big one. Anybody who swipes a credit card. Believe it or not, we do a ton of agribusiness. They are heavily invested in tech today. And so we do a ton of food production, agribusiness, co-ops, things like that. Even local farms, because they have so much data that helps them decide what to do on their farms. Manufacturing is a big one, hospitality. And then all of the professional services, whether you're a financial service, a legal service, an accountant, a tax preparer, private wealth manager, all of these guys are great for cyber. They know they need it. They buy it. It's great. Nonprofits are a big one because a lot of the grant givers are requiring a certain amount of cyber at this point. And if you go through this list and you're like, I'm just not entirely sure where I fit, like say, for example, an insurance agency, if you click on other, we've got a complete database of all of the NAIC codes. And so you can just type in what you know they do and it pops up and you just click on it and it'll automatically classify them. Again, we're just trying to make your job easier. So if it takes more than 2 seconds to find what you're looking for, just use the other, or better yet, even jump on the live chat, which is still just down here. Ask us, how would you classify this? And we'll take care of it for you. So this is our one and only underwriting question on our application. We really just want to know what kind of records they have. Cyber is one of those things today where records isn't necessarily a great determiner of risk, but we do think there's a correlation between the number of records that a company has and how big of a risk they might be. It's also an interesting check for us on seeing what they do. So for example, if they're a doctor's office, but they have 4 million records and only $1 million in revenue, we're going to be like, wait, what's going on here? So we do look at this information to sort of determine if things are properly classified. So we ask about 3 separate kinds of records. For example, healthcare records. And if you scroll over the little question marks, it gives you examples in case a customer isn't necessarily sure how to answer this question. Yesterday, for example, we were working with a veterinary clinic and they were like, we obviously have healthcare records for these animals. Does that count? And I was like, yeah, no. But it was an interesting thought. We also don't need specific numbers of records. We're looking at large bands of records to make it easy for you guys to quote before you ever step foot in your insured's office. You can basically fill out all of this information and then just check it with them before you purchase the account, the policy, and we're fine with that. Personal information records is going to be, email addresses, physical addresses, driver's license numbers, social security numbers. Anything that isn't health related or credit card falls into that, and it's the same bands as above. And then finally, we ask about credit cards. For retail, for example, if they're swiping credit cards, you can usually ballpark it based on what they're swiping and how much revenue they do, how many transactions they're going to have a year. We also are asking a follow-up question about PCI compliance. It's a federally mandated standard for keeping credit card data secure. And while most companies aren't PCI compliant, if you're an e-commerce company and or you're using a credit card vendor, that vendor needs to be PCI compliant. You can again scroll over the question mark for more information. The best thing I can say about this is ask an insured who their vendor is, and then you can just Google it, like, is PayPal PCI compliant? Is Stripe PCI compliant? The answer to both of those is yes. All reputable companies are, but if you need to double check, then no problem. And then finally, their last two questions are both whether or not they've had a data breach before. Again, based on user feedback over the last few months, we have a major update to the system. We're improving the policy a bit, dropping prices a bit, et cetera, over the next about 10 days. So these two questions are about to become one question, again, making it easier for you guys and less time consuming to quote. So we ask currently if you've ever had a theft or unintended release of data. I'm just going to say no here. If the answer is yes, by the way, it doesn't preclude them from getting coverage, quite the opposite. Cyber is one of those things where people firmly believe they don't need it until they've had a breach. They're wrong, but it does make somebody who's had a breach a pretty good insured because they'll be more vigilant. So we're just going to ask you as a follow-up, if they have had a breach, what happened, how much was lost, what occurred, and what they've done since then to prevent it from happening again. And if they've done really anything at all, we're good with it. And then this is if they've ever had a network security claim before. I'm going to say no again. Same rules apply. And this is it. This is a purchasable quote that you can click on right now and purchase on behalf of your insured. We take a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to coverage. So you don't have to check over each policy to make sure each coverage is included. Every single coverage we offer is included in every single policy that we sell. All you have to do is select the limit of insurance that your insured needs based on revenue and what they do, and potentially a contract. If we usually offer 1, 2, and 3 million limits standard. If they need higher limits, not a problem. You can request additional limits. If you need more than 5, use the live chat. Let us know, and we'll help you through that process. We can do 10. We can do 10x of 10. We've got lots of towers that we can build and ways to make it work. So let's talk about what to do from here. To print out the quote letter, you just click on View Quote Letter. You put in the insured's name. We do this solely for aesthetics. We find that insureds like it better when their name is clearly legible on their quote letter. Silly, but it's true. And that's it. This is your quote. You can click print and it generates a PDF. It'll also email you, by the way, a copy with a PDF attached so that you can just drag and drop it into your proprietary system or into an email for the insured, whatever you might need. And it comes with the quote letter. Again, this is admitted, so no taxes and fees, no additional filing required, no underwriting time required, no contingencies based on other things. This is it. You can purchase it right now. You're done. And we We list
Just,
out
just to jump in, 1 second, Ellie. Where it said Wingman up top, once again, that's going to have Newfront's logo, not our logo.
Correct.
Your customer will never know the Wingman name.
Correct. This whole thing will look like it came from you and not from us. Our name won't appear anywhere on the quote letter, on the billing emails, which I'll show you in a second. Nothing. So each of our coverages is outlined, and then the last page are claims examples. Again, we feel like insureds like to know that this could happen to them, so we have a litany of different cyber crimes and industry groups, so that hopefully one of them will hit on what your insured does and feel familiar to them.
Question.
Yeah, great.
What, if anything, is sublimited?
Great question. We have 2 coverages currently that are sublimited. I'm going to caveat that for a second. So social engineering, or what a lot of the non-admitted markets are calling funds transfer fraud, that's $250,000 sublimits. Telecommunications theft is also sublimited. And then we're adding some additional coverages with our upgrade next week. That's going to include a few other sublimited coverages. All of them are always going to be $250,000. It's not a variable. No matter what your max limit is or your ag limit on the policy, it's always going to be $250 for the sublimited coverages. That's going to include bricking. Bricking is when like someone downloads something onto your phone or your computer and it essentially makes it useless, as in the same value as a brick. We're going to offer $250,000 of replacement coverage for those devices. Invoice manipulation, which is a new branch of social engineering fraud. That's also going to have a separate coverage for $250,000 as well. So those are the sublimited coverages. Everything else is full limit. Questions?
I have one more question as well. What is the trigger for a claim on your policy?
Great question. So basically, obviously with cyber, having something that's full prior acts is important because discovery is really where it happens. So basically it's discovery, and then you have essentially, I want to say 90 days after discovery to tell the claims department that you've had a claim. Although for cyber, you really can't wait that long anyway. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you. My name is David Hopkins, by the way. Just if I could expand on that further, if you suspect there may have been a breach, but you aren't certain yet, is that still something that is reportable or not?
The broker in me is saying you should absolutely report that. The lawyer in me is saying Access has never denied a claim because you may or may not have had some minor evidence of it before. The policy language specifically says like it has to basically accelerate to a relatively high level for that to occur, for like it to trigger like notification time period starting. We have had some delayed reactions. We had one particular social engineering attack that like they waited 6 months after it had happened to tell anybody, and we still paid the claim. So the answer is it would have to rise to a pretty high level of knowledge for it to be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that answered your question. I think that's what you were getting at.
Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing that I think really helps our policy be very strong. We have a 100% US-based claims department that does nothing but cyber liability. So aside from the fact that we contract with all of the same people that everybody else does for these specialized services, when a claim comes in, those people do nothing but cyber claims. And so they're able to deploy the resources that you need immediately. They're able to, for example, negotiate with ransomers without bringing in 16 different third parties and arguing about it for half the time that you have to decide if you're going to pay the ransom or not. So they're incredibly knowledgeable. They're incredibly skilled. They are in complete control of the insurance company. And the insurance company, again, in my time period working with them, which is a number of years, never denied a cyber claim for any of the BS reasons that some other companies might. All right, keep throwing your questions at me. I want to hear them. I think it's really valuable. I just want to show you a couple of other things, how easy it is to purchase a policy. If you are, for example, on this screen, you can click purchase coverage down here. Or if you're in the system and you come back to it later, which is really more frequently, you're going to click on where it says quotes and there's a little one. And underneath of it, you just click purchase. If you want to get back to that circles page for whatever reason, you can click view. You can view the quote letter from here, or again, you can purchase. You just have to pick your limit. We offer installments when a policy is over $2,500 in premium. If it's under $2,500, we don't normally offer installments. If you have an insured that for, I don't know, whatever reason, they absolutely must have installments and it's a $22,000 policy, that's fine. Let us know. We'll make it work. Otherwise, we normally just have full pay up front before we issue a policy. They have to pay their bill. We give insureds 14 days after the effective date to pay their bill online. What happens is you click, let's say they want to do monthly installments, for example. You click proceed. You give us the effective date and the contact information for the person who's going to pay the bill, and fill out the rest of this information. Click complete purchase. We're going to send them an email. We're going to CC the agent on the email so that you guys know that it went out. For example, if you don't see it or for whatever reason, we can resend it. You can resend it. There's lots of options there. But they can just click on the link in the email and it takes them to a secure site where they can enter in their ACH or credit card information, pay online. As soon as we get their payment information, the policy form is generated and it's emailed via PDF to the agent and only to the agent so that you're still doing policy delivery. Questions?
Cool. No, I think we're good. No other questions? Anyone? No?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. If you guys have
Hello?
anything, I'm going to be in your office in a couple of weeks. So if you have any questions or any thoughts, and I hope you guys all have my contact information by now, Jeff will certainly send it around. I'm right down the street, available to help you guys anytime. I'm excited to work with you and help you embrace cyber environment.
So
Okay, perfect.
Just a couple of quick points from me. What we find is that our agencies that do quote 100% of cyber to all your customers, we tend to, after about a year, we see about a 30 to 35% uptake rate. When we first started, that was about 10%. We're expecting it to get to 50% in the next couple of years. So it's a good policy. Second, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. I mean, you can certainly use the 3 dots, but you can definitely give me a call. And like Ellie said, she's going to be out there on the 5th of December, and hopefully you get a chance to meet all of you. We certainly appreciate your time, and we look forward to great things from Newfront.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Could you also do me a favor and send over the recording? I saw that you did the recording on it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, Jen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.